For IoMT, Internet of Medical Things, and I hope you're aware, in the hospital you have a lot of sensor-based devices, infusion pumps, and all those devices are iOS based, and they're quite vulnerable, by the way. So, being a cybersecurity expert, I just want to know, as a doctor, as a consultant, how you are taking precautions and what uh, framework you are using to make sure that they are secure when you are using that.
As you know, the IoMT is like the nervous system of healthcare. And the fact that, as we discussed earlier, we can upload data in real time. So,
Yes.
medical devices include wearables such as the Fitbit, Apple Watch, which is FDA approved now, even to detect atrial fibrillation, for example, like an abnormal heart rhythm. You've got infusion pumps that administer chemotherapy, fluids, other medications, especially, for example, in the ICU. It's very, very critical for patients there. And obviously, that needs to be kind of combined with, again, the electronic health record, blood tests, genomics, proteomics. So there's so much possibility with IOMT. But as you know, we have to make sure that it's secure. So, there's ethical, regulatory, and compliance issues associated with IOMT. And I don't really want to be kind of futuristic and annihilatory in a way, but this is not sci-fi. I mean, for example, if an infusion pump is actually hacked, for example, that could be a life or death situation for a patient. Like, imagine they're sitting there receiving their treatment, and for whatever reason, that particular machine is hacked and it interrupts the flow of medication. Or, for example, a patient is receiving insulin, and then the hacker manages to increase the amount of insulin. I mean, that could potentially actually lead to loss of life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And another part of that is also patient data privacy. I mean, it's not very far down the line where your entire DNA sequencing might actually end up being on the cloud integrated
Yes.
with your medical record, right? So I think AI powered cybersecurity needs to be implemented. But obviously, I think you know more than I do about that. For example, your company could contribute to that, or what possible pathways are there?
Definitely. Basically, there are a lot of ransomware attacks, especially healthcare is a major target. The
Yeah.
thing which you mentioned about the life and that, that's very important in the healthcare.
Absolutely.
If the infrastructure is down, if there is a cyber attack in the healthcare, you're talking about thousands of lives of the people, and that's very important. So, what my recommendation is, what we do as you're talking about compliance and regulation, it is very important for healthcare to ensure they have a compliance against HIPAA compliance and all those things. That's the first thing. Secondly, how they are doing the risk assessment and for all those IoMT devices. Let's say these devices, these are normal devices, they have an iOS. So the cybersecurity kicks in, or your IT stuff, are they continuously doing the vulnerability assessment for that? Also, the upgrades of these devices. Mostly in the healthcare, they forget about these vendors.
Right.
All these vendors are different companies. Are we doing the third party risk assessment for that? We don't know about those vendors from where they are coming.
Exactly.
We don't know how much secure their infrastructure is, because if they got hacked, automatically it will impact the healthcare where they have their appliances. And last but not least is to monitoring those devices, to ensure those devices are monitored. If in case there is a cyber attack, there has to be a monitoring tool who shows that these devices are under attack and how you are doing the remediation. I will summarize in a way that those days are gone where you have a cyber attack, let's say in the healthcare. Now every organization is under attack. But in case of cyber attack, how resilient you are, how robust you are. The cyber attack is going on, should not impact the healthcare. You should segregate those devices, and the business operations and everything should run at the same time.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point about segregation. How would we be able to manage the security for the hospital and the security for the actual AI algorithm? Or is that what you mean by segregating? That you make sure that they're not, so if one part is vulnerable, the other part wouldn't be vulnerable if, for example, to an attack?
Absolutely. Whatever tools you are using as an AI. So what AI is, they are taking lifetime data. It's
Right.
all lifetime data. And you talk about data privacy and patient privacy, PII, personal identified information, is very important for the healthcare. So when you have these tools in your organization, the assessment is must that so we talk about how you'll secure the AI. So the cyber security, this should be built in case of any tool when it comes in the market. So if you're having those AI tools or anything, what you need to ensure that a risk assessment should be done to ensure that these tools pass through that cybersecurity model.
Yeah.
And then if you have a proper risk assessment, you have a cybersecurity team who do all those kind of steps, then it should pass that this tool should come and integrated in your healthcare and anything. And it's not
Right.
only that, after that it's a continuous monitoring, it's all everything, it's a cycle. It's not like one time you implement it and after that you forget.
How would it be AI powered? Would the actual vulnerability assessment be under an AI algorithm, or the solutions might be actually given by an AI solution algorithm?
So what we do, let's say Cyberways or any cybersecurity consultancy, if there is, so we go to the healthcare and we do their assessment. Let's say is one is as is assessment, like these are the current vulnerabilities in the healthcare organization, and then we recommend different solutions.
Right.
So cybersecurity is a defense in depth, is a different layer. It's not every organization is 100% secure. So there'll be layers of security implement. Who is accessing what in the organization?
Right.
Segregation of duty. Let's say you are accessing medical records. Maybe the other doctor, he or she doesn't have a access of your department.
Right.
And what they are accessing, what data they are accessing, until how long they are accessing. So these, and what level of privilege they have as in, in terms of access. Not talking about now, we have non-humanized identity. When we talk about those IoMT devices, when we talk about those AI bots, these devices are also an identity. They are IP based. Right. They are accessing your system. So the identity for that is also very important. The whole identity governance life cycle.
I never thought about that actually.
Yeah, so that's what we are working. So we need to ensure that either it's a humanized and non-humanized identity in the organization or any IoMT devices. It should have been monitored, and we need to ensure that what they are accessing at what time and the whole identity governance model. Yeah. That's the basic thing.
Absolutely.